I would like to offer Carole an additional 5 days off of paid vacation in addition to what we told her. So the motion that I would want would be to ratify 2% raise, a $1,000 bonus, and an additional 5 days of paid vacation.
Shouldn't that be something that was discussed during the closed session?
We can discuss it now.
Discuss it.
Second.
Thank you.
Discussion.
What was the dollar amount? I don't recall it being what Randy mentioned.
I wrote it down. It was 167 going up to 170 something.
I have 179, 194.
That's 2%.
No, not 179.
170.
Where was it posted? Was it supposed to be posted somewhere?
It was posted as required by law in the reception office and with information on the website where that information is found, and that's in compliance with the law. And that actually was prepared and posted about a week after the board meeting, and law only requires 1 week prior to approval, and it was posted 4 weeks ago.
And that posting comes before we ratify it.
Yes, it has it by 6 days before.
Oh, right.
It has to be posted 6 days before it is ratified, correct?
So the figure that Randy gave with all the insurance other than there, the total that he gave was 179, 194. That is not accurate.
Well, the posted number is over $100,000.
It would be with it.
Were you able for us to get a copy of what was posted?
You want to go get it? Make a few copies, Nancy.
Okay.
That was perhaps a mistake that we should take care of next time, or whoever's on the board next time. We were talking about percentages so much that we did not really discuss figures.
No, we talked about percentages.
We did talk specifically about it here.
Yeah, I don't need to. I don't
need
because
to.
I
It
was
has nothing- I
over here
don't recall it,
calculating.
but
Yeah.
It also wasn't in the packet, which I would have expected. But we did have a specific number when we came into the open session. And it was specifically 2% based upon salary and not no other French benefits.
Yeah, I was surprised. Except what time we went into closed session and what time we came out of it. We were in over an hour, so I know we discussed all this.
Then it really is sort of our fault that this notion that nobody knows what it is.
Well, no, we're passionate.
Even if it isn't in the board packet, if it was mentioned and we're all there, now nobody can say what it is.
But it's not a total number. What it is 2% above her annual income.
I understand that, but I'm saying we're talking about real numbers. If it was mentioned, nobody knows what it is.
I don't know that we were talking about numbers, we talked about percentages.
I'm not sure why this is relevant. You are welcome to vote whichever way you want. You all are welcome to vote whichever way you want. I just wanted to make sure that the motion included this, if you were willing to second.
I do want to address something that is on here, just to clarify what was provided by public comments from earlier, is that the compensation that we were referring to is the annual salary plus the bonuses. The employer paid health and dental insurance is not the numbers that we were taking, we're basing our position on tonight. So it comes out to $173,126.50. Is that what we're discussing? Okay. Just to provide clarification, we're not talking about total compensation, just salary and bonuses. unless, of course, now we're going to provide 5 additional days for vacation. Once again, no, if that's going to be something that we're going to discuss, there will have to be much more extensive discussion, and more information is going to have to be put back out.
I don't understand why. I mean,
Because, and I am not going to go ahead and just start discussing this because they were issues that were brought up in closed session. So either it's a closed session conversation or it's not something we can go ahead and consider because we're not able to fully discuss it freely.
I'm just curious, when we voted to go into closed session, did you vote for it? Or
No, we voted against it. However, we did discuss it in closed session, so if I was to discuss it now, I would be violating the closed session that everybody went into. So if you want me to discuss, that's fine. We don't need to go into closed sessions any further. If you want me to violate closed session, then that's on the board as well.
I, of course,
But this
don't
is
want that.
not an appropriate conversation to be had at this point.
Okay, well, we cannot violate that, so if that's what has to happen, then I would ask you not to discuss it.
Okay, then I don't feel that it's an appropriate conversation to be having or to consider at this point.
Well, we have a motion and a second, so at this point, all we can do is have further discussion that doesn't violate closed session or then take it.
But that doesn't allow for fair and full discussion.
You know, we can solve this rather easily by just putting it on the agenda. Take with it now.
Could we go into closed session now?
We don't have to go into
No,
closed
I
session.
don't think that we need to either.
If we're just going to discuss whether
Regardless.
or not the additional 5 days off, we can do that in an open session.
Regardless of the time that we have the
Oh,
conversation.
vote on this,
That,
and then
that
next week.
material is still going to be brought into consideration. So it doesn't matter if you have a closed session now, if you have an open session later, I'm still basing my decisions and my conversation on the closed session material.
You can base it on whatever you want, but if we
Then it's
put it
going to be
on
brought
the,
open,
if we put it on the agenda and vote on it next week at an open meeting, we've satisfied all the requirements.
except the conversation is still going to involve closed session issues.
Why? Why? There's
Because it's
nothing that
supposed
has
to be a
do.
conversation.
There's
It does,
nothing
it is
that-
about compensation.
All right, you know what? When we went into closed session, we did not discuss an extra 5 days of paid vacation. So any discussion on that can take place right here.
No, it's still part of compensation. What we discussed about in closed session was compensation. 5 additional vacation days is still part of compensation.
Right, and I feel that it would be appropriate to have a discussion about that right now.
Okay, so then we need to do something about closed session meetings, because that's part of the conversation.
Well, that's a discussion for another time, maybe we put that on the agenda for next month.
Then we can't have a discussion about adding 5 additional days.
Okay, well, if you don't want to discuss it, that's fine, but we have a motion and a
You're
second.
preventing me from discussing it.
I'm not. You know, you obviously are making your thoughts known, so I sort of feel like I know how you're going to vote.
I'm not making my thoughts known at all.
Okay, can you say very simply what your thoughts are without violating something that
I
you
think
said
it's
last?
part of having a full conversation.
Okay, I don't understand why.
We need a
Just-
parliamentarian. That would settle it. Well, we do have someone here who has legal training. Who's remarkably quiet at this point, but I've never heard quietness before.
I do have legal training, but not in this area, and I don't practice law for the library.
Yeah, I don't.
Thank you for thinking of that.
Well, I am not going to withdraw my motion, or, I mean, I'm not asking that we withdraw the motion at this point. I would like to move forward. Does anyone else have any discussion on this, that it doesn't violate closed session?
What did I get the motion exactly the way it's supposed to be? It's a motion to ratify the 2% increase plus the $1,000 bonus, plus 5 additional days for vacation,
Paid vacation.
paid vacation.
See, I don't agree with that. That is a different,
That's a different motion.
Yeah, that would be an additional motion.
Yeah, the vacation days would have to be a different motion.
Can we separate those like that? Jane, would you mind making just the motion?
I'm not making the motion, I'll just tell you, and someone else can.
Patty made it.
Okay, maybe.
So it would be to ratify the agreed upon 2% raise and $1,000 bonus for the executive director.
Okay, I would be willing to withdraw the motion as stated and instead move acceptance of the original motion, which could then either be amended or voted upon, and then another motion could be made with respect to the vacation days. Whichever
You are
works.
agreeing to withdraw,
Yeah, I'll withdraw the motion.
and then we need to make a new one.
So let's repeat it again, I want to make sure we get this correct, okay? So now the motion is to ratify the agreed upon 2% increase plus $1,000 bonus for the executive director.
Yes, that's correct. That's your motion.
Okay.
And
Did the secretary agree to your second?
All right,
Rose,
Yes.
Harkin,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Kruger,
Yes.
Moylan,
Yes.
Wakeman, Bednar,
yes. I would like to propose that we add an additional 5 days of paid vacation to our executive director's review and raise that we had agreed upon last month.
I feel that we should really put that on the agenda. I don't, nothing like that was suggested in the agenda for today. So that's my opinion.
That's lost.
I don't think,
You just put it
yeah,
on the
we
agenda. Just put it
Well,
on
I
the
think our
agenda.
legal counsel should also look into the fact that closed session minutes will be discussed.
Well, that point is moved. We've
Yeah, we've already
already decided.
voted on that.
No, this
We've already
conversation
agreed.
about adding additional vacation days is still part of the conversation that was held in closed
No,
session.
we
No,
voted
never.
on
Didn't
what
even
we
talk about
decided.
that.
in
It is
all
part of
closed session.
compensation.
Yes, but-
Yeah, we can always
Talk
add to the
about-
compensation.
Sure, we can. Bring it up.
However, adding to the compensation is going to still include conversation that included.
No.
Yes.
No.
Not at all.
Not at all. We have voted on that, we've taken care of that, this is entirely new.
Actually, it
issue.
is not.
Sure it is. It's an entirely
Alright.
new thing.
you know, I'm very disappointed. I really got the impression that we all would, from the way that we all feel about our executive director, maybe not all of us, that this would not be met with any kind of a problem at all. I assume we
You're
would.
confusing two things.
Excuse me, I'm not done yet. I assume we could ratify this, and adding this extra thing that was not going to necessarily cost any money would be a nice gesture, considering that Carole got a lower raise than everyone else. So I'm disappointed.
It doesn't mean that it won't be voted in next time.
I know.
Okay, just hold on to those good thoughts.
I am. If we need to have it on the agenda next month, then we're going to have to, so it's a motion.
Want to put it on the agenda? I'll make a motion to put it on the agenda.
And I'll second.